Hello and welcome to one of Dr. Marian's engaging talks. As an author, speaker, and educator, Dr. Marian helps families around the world by giving seminars on current parenting topics. During this session, Dr. Marian shares some ideas and strategies designed to help you become the best parent you can be. And now, here's Dr. Marian.
So today, we're going to talk about the importance of giving your kids choices. We're going to look at how we develop preschoolers' thinking. We're going to look at how we can foster independence and initiative. We're going to look at implementing chores. How do you actually do this? And countering the myth, it's easier to do it myself. We're also going to look at ensuring the success, and we're going to look at roles and responsibilities for children at various ages. So we have a lot of things to cover. One of the things that I'm asking all of you to do today, this is one of my new talks. It's based on chapter 3 in my book, Raising Responsible Adults, the preschool years. And so this is part of my chapter. So I would like to get feedback on my talk. So you have an evaluation form. If you could take time to fill that out. And the other thing I do is under my talks, I list comments that people make for my talks on my website. So I'd appreciate anything like that you could add to that. So when I got a job at Merced College, one of the things that college professors have to do is be involved in committees and stuff. And fortunately, they said, you can choose whatever committees you want to be on. It's your choice. Now, had I gotten the job and they said, these are the 3 committees you're going to be on, I would not have been very happy. Because, see, I like to make choices for myself. How many of you do better if you get to choose something? Anybody? Versus being told, you will do this. Someone tells me you will do this, and it's just like, watch me not. And so our kids are not really any different than we are. They like having choices too. Now, being children, they can't always have a choice, but there's ways that we can give them choices a lot of the time. And one of the principles that I have is to rarely do for children what they can do for themselves. And this is really important because we're actually learning to have them do things instead of us doing them for them. We actually begin with toddlers. Most of my book is 3 to 5-year-olds, but in this case, we're going to look at toddlers. They start at about 18 months, and they go, officially, toddlers go till 3, but they will say that they can do things. So with choices, you can say to a toddler, do you want to wear this shirt or this shirt? And they can point. Even a child at a year can point. So they can start making very simple choices as toddlers. They're actually beginning to have autonomy. And when you give them choices, you minimize conflict. There's ways to offer other choices too. I don't know why parents say, do you want to take a nap? I hear that all the time. And unless they're talking to a teenager, I don't know why they ask that question, but they'll say that. So instead of saying, do you want to take a nap? Because the answer is going to be, no, I don't want to take a nap unless I'm 14. We say, would you like to sleep with your bunny today or your bear? Would you like to sleep with your blue blanket or your, plaid blanket or whatever it is? So we can still give them a choice, but the choice isn't, do I take a nap today or not? Because you're setting yourself up for a battle. Another similar one is it's cold and rainy, not very often, and they might need to wear a jacket. And you say, do you want to wear your jacket? No, they don't want to wear their jacket. But they can have a choice. Do you want to put your jacket on first or your boots on first? Oh boy, boots, jacket. I got to make a choice. And so you take the power struggle out of for a lot of kids, not all. We'll talk about them, they're special. You take a power struggle, you take that out of it for most kids. If you're going to order at a restaurant and instead of asking your child, what do you want to eat? And for me, it's even hard to decide what I want to eat at a restaurant. I might narrow it down to several choices, even from the kids' menu. And maybe I say, you know, do you want the hot dogs, or do you want the macaroni and cheese, or whatever the choice is? So you start narrowing choices, but letting them make the choices. And then as they start being able to have more choices, you can offer them like 3 or 4 choices. Like, do you want yogurt, or do you want raisins, or do you want an apple for snacks? So that's 3 choices. So you start increasing the number of choices that they have. Now, there are those that even though they had choices, can be a little more challenging. This is a picture of my granddaughter when she was 3. And the summer she turned 3, she thought that the only piece of clothing she should wear would be a swimsuit. And that's what she wanted to wear every day, all day long. Well, swimsuits didn't work for every occasion that we went to. So one of the things that we did with her is we would give her choices and say, we're going to be going to the store, so in 5 minutes you need to have on your, whatever we told her sundress or shorts and pants and shoes or whatever, and we're going to get ready to go, because as soon as we get back from the store, you can get back in your swimsuit again. Isn't that exciting? And so even with her, we could give her options, and she wasn't really happy about it. Or maybe you decide that you're going to let her wear her clothes over her swimsuit, depending on what the situation was. But the choice is that she's going to wear something other than the swimsuit. And so that's where we take the power struggle out, is giving them choices within choices. Because there are children that don't like to cooperate. They want their own choice. But guess what? There are times when you have no choice in a situation. We gave our daughter so many choices. By the time they were in elementary school, they thought they were on Let's Make a Deal. It was like, you know, and I'd say, no. This is not a let's make a deal opportunity. This is wow, it's going to be in this situation. And one of them is living life. All of us have things that we have to do. It would be fun if we could just play every day and do all sorts of stuff and not have to be responsible. Wouldn't that be nice? But that doesn't work that way, because we do have things that we have to do. So if you have to pick up a prescription for a child, or you have to go to the bank to make a transaction, or whatever it is that you have to do, there's things that happen in life. We still have to do those things. Another reason a child might not have a choice is safety. We might be cooking in the kitchen, but that doesn't mean they get to play with all the knobs and turn on the burners and see if they get hot. No, that's not an option. Or using adult knives to cut their bananas. So safety is an issue we have to think about, where we're going to say this isn't an option to children. Another time is time constraints, and we all have them. All of you were trying to get here, I don't know at what time, but whatever time this morning. And so it's not like if you show up at noon today, MOPS will probably be gone. There might be 1 or 2 left here. So you have time constraints, places you have to be. So in those situations, you're going to give a primary choice and a secondary choice. A primary choice is we have to leave to go to MOPS at 8:30, let's say. So that's the primary decision. The next one is they can choose what they're going to wear. Or for example, here I've got my daughter and granddaughter making brownies. And so the choice was, Mommy decided that we're going to make brownies. But the choice for Kylie then is, does she want to pour in the oil, or does she want to crack the egg? Actually, because she's an only child, she gets to do it all. So that's the difference between primary and secondary. When children know that they will be given sufficient opportunities to choose for themselves, they are more willing to accept those important no-choice decisions adults must make for them. So when we're giving kids a lot of choices in everyday things, those no, it's not, let's make a deal, are easier for children to handle. So as our kids get older, we start increasing their choices and decisions. This is a picture of Parker. he chose to play t-ball, and when he was 3, he wanted to play t-ball. So his mom and dad talked to him about what it means to play t-ball. Now, I know that at 3, I teach child development. A child doesn't understand all of these concepts, but that doesn't mean we didn't talk about them. So that meant 2 days a week, he was going to go to practice in the afternoon. And 2 days a week, he was going to have to play his game. So that means 4 of 7 days. You can show them on a little, picture of a week how many days that is. And then that also meant he was going to go get pictures to be taken. They had a parade that lasts like forever and a day. And he also had to sell raffle tickets on top of that, even at 3 to raise money. And so my daughter went through, and son-in-law went through these things, not in one time, but talking over time about it. Is this really what he wants to do? And oh, by the way, if you start, you're going to play the whole season, which is like, 3 or 4 months. So Parker chose that year to play t-ball. So the next year when he's 4, they talked through this again. Well, now he's got a little friend, and the friend wants to play, so now they're both going to play. He turns 5, and he decides he doesn't want to play t-ball anymore. I don't want to go to practice that many days a week, and I don't really like t-ball enough. And so even as a young child, they're learning to make decisions and choices and the consequences that come with them. So one of the things we do with all of this is we develop children's thinking skills. And the first one is problem-solving skills. If they're supposed to put their toys away and the toy doesn't fit, what am I going to do? How am I going to figure that out? Or I want a toy and somebody else has it, and I know I'm not supposed to just grab it, although it's really tempting. How am I going to figure it out? Problem solving is really, really an important skill that children need and we need for the rest of our lives. One of the ones I like is generating new ideas. I remember Kristen was about 2.5, and she is very verbal. I don't know where she gets it from. But anyhow, she was driving with my husband and my mom in California up to Eugene, and she gets bored easily. And so my husband gave her a styrofoam cup. I know it's not environmentally friendly, but we didn't know these things back with the dinosaurs. And my husband said to her, "What could you do with a styrofoam cup?" And I swear, he said she came up with 25 ideas as a 2.5-year-old. But that's the way she is. She has a lot of really good ideas. And so generating ideas is one of the ways that we learn to solve problems, make decisions, and make choices. But there's 2 kinds of thinking that a child has to have before they can really make a lot of decisions. And the first one is convergent thinking. That means knowing the right answer, like 1 and 1 equals 2. Most kids don't have problems learning the facts. It's the divergent thinking that we need to help our kids with, because that's coming up with, there are lots of different possibilities. And so the other day I was helping at my grandson's kindergarten class, and the kids were all digging holes in the sand. That just happened to be what they were doing. And how they dug their holes were all different. And we actually talked about, because one of the boys thought his way was the only way that was right. And so I helped them see that there were many ways to dig a hole, and just because he dug his that way didn't mean that the others were wrong. So coming up with lots of different ideas is important for them in thinking skills. I know for a lot of you, this is a long ways away, being a teenager, but I want to give you a quote because I think it's important as we're thinking about giving our little ones choices. It's like, why is this really a big deal? They're not, they're just really not that old. If we expect teenagers to make healthful choices about important issues such as sexual activity or the use of alcohol or illegal drugs, we must allow them many opportunities in the early years to make meaningful choices. The cognitive development and decision-making actually starts when children are in the preschool and toddler years. So it's not too early to prepare them for adolescence.
For additional resources or to schedule Dr. Marian for a speaking engagement, please visit www.fromdiaperstodiamonds.com.